So the last thing we're going to learn about are the network features on this receiver. One of the cooler features of this receiver, probably if not the coolest, and one of the biggest reasons a lot of people are going to upgrade, is the ability to stream network audio to the receiver. There's other benefits of the network features. For example, you can access your receiver through the web browser on your laptop or a network computer, or you can use the remote app on the iPhone to control the receiver remotely. Those are both awesome features. And you can also update your firmware over the network so you don't have to send it to a repair shop if there's a bug that needs to be fixed. But the thing that most people are going to be looking for is the ability to stream music wirelessly from their iPhones or Android phones, etc. So I'm going to show you how the AirPlay feature works. I'm going to start up an AirPlay stream on my iPhone. You can't see what I'm doing here, but trust me, it's happening. So on my iPhone, I click on the little AirPlay icon, I select AVR 2113CI from the network, and I start the music playing, and you can see what happens there. All of a sudden, the receiver has automatically switched to the network input. Let me turn down the volume here. And the volume, just so you know, I'm changing the volume on my iPhone right now, and you can see the volume bar on the receiver come up. The iPhone volume and the receiver volume are linked when you're using AirPlay, and the same would be true for the computer volume and the receiver volume if you were streaming from a computer. So, change the volume down. You can see that the album art pops up. The receiver automatically switches to this input. All the information is there. If I change the track, there's information on the screen changes with it. So it's a pretty cool feature because regardless of what's happening, you start up the AirPlay, your music starts playing. So it will also work when the receiver is completely off. As long as network standby is enabled in the receiver settings, you can come home and take your iPhone out and start the music playing, or open the iPod, start music playing. Receiver turns itself on, the music starts playing, and as we mentioned before, because of the auto standby feature that's been included on these 13 models, you don't have to worry about turning it off when you're done. It'll just turn itself off after 30 minutes or 60 minutes when it doesn't receive a signal. So the AirPlay really is a cool feature, and it does work as advertised. It's really easy to use. It's super simple if you've already got your stuff set up with iDevices, iPads, or iPhones, or iTunes running on a computer. For those of you who are using Android devices, the Denon remote app does also work on Android, but you don't have the same kind of easy connection functionality like you do with AirPlay. There are workarounds. There are apps you can download on your Android smartphone, which will utilize the DLNA client to sort of simulate the same functionality you get with AirPlay, where you can stream wirelessly, but you're not going to get this seamless integration, which is what the Apple products are really good at. So here we see the home for the network input on the Denon and all the different network options you have. For those of you who aren't using AirPlay, there are plenty of other options for how to stream music. The Favorites is a place where you can store your favorite stations from internet radio, etc. Internet radio, it gives you access to all sorts of radio stations that broadcast their feed on the internet all throughout the world. And you can search stations if you have a favorite station. You can look for local stations, and this will bring up stations that are local to me here in San Diego. And in addition to the internet radio, there's a Sirius XM tuner built in. It's a web-based service. It's not actually a tuner module. But if you have a Sirius XM account, internet streaming account, you can access it through your receiver. You can look at photos through Flickr. That's really the only non-audio feature that's available. A lot of people are going to ask about streaming video options. Receivers don't really stream video. They're basically audio-only streamers. You don't have the horsepower to be streaming and decoding HD video on the fly. So you really want to rely on an external device like a PS3 or an Apple TV or a dedicated media streamer if you're going to be doing a lot of DLNA media streaming from your house. The media server is where you would access music that was stored on a server somewhere in your home network. I don't actually use that feature. All of my music is in iTunes, so I would just stream through AirPlay. Pandora, I'll open this up real quick so you can see what it looks like. Pandora, you can access your various radio stations that are available, and you can also see at the top, you can make a new station if you want to watch something else. And the last thing that's available, this was just recently added via a firmware update, is Spotify. I don't have a Spotify account, but there's a lot of people who love Spotify, so this is really good news. And just as a reminder, all of these things are accessible through the Denon Remote iPhone app. And this is honestly an easier way to control it. If you don't, like me, want to turn on your TV just to listen to music, now all you have to do is pull out your Android device or your iPhone or your iPad, and you can pull up Pandora, or you can start up an internet radio stream, or you can start up Spotify, and you can turn on the receiver and get the stream going. It won't turn on automatically like it does with AirPlay, so you have to take the huge initial step of actually turning the receiver on first through your phone or through your iDevice or using the remote. But then once the receiver's on, you can start up and control any network stream, and it really makes it easy to access the streaming audio features without having to pull out the big wand remote and turn the TV on. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that video review of the Denon AVR 2113 CI. Apologies if there's any rough edges in terms of the video or audio quality. I'm going to try and clean that up in the future. This is my first video review, but I'm planning to come out with a lot more video content at batpigworld.com. And a final shout out to Electronics Expo, where I got this receiver. As I mentioned before over at AVS Forum, this is our top recommended vendor for Denon products. They always give great customer service and the best prices you can find. So if you're looking for a Denon receiver, definitely give Electronics Expo a call. So that pretty much wraps it up. Stay tuned for the review of the Denon 2313 CI, which is the step-up model to this receiver, coming up in a few weeks. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.